What would you do, if you had one chance to see your dead child again? Not a dream. Not a memory. Not a hallucination you could explain away. But real. Standing in front of you. Calling your name. Reaching out. Would you question it, or would you run into its arms? Because for Nicole and Sebastian, that question didn't stay hypothetical. It became a choice. And that choice cost them everything. Before the silence, there was life. Nicole and Sebastian weren't extraordinary people. They didn't live some dramatic, complicated existence. They were simple. Happy. Grounded. Their world revolved around their daughter, their routines, their laughter, their future. The film gives us glimpses of that life in fragments: sunlight through a window, a birthday candle being blown out, a small hand gripping tightly onto a parent's finger. Moments that feel ordinary, until they're gone. The accident is never fully shown in one piece. Instead, it's broken. Disjointed. We see flashes, a road. Headlights cutting through them. A sudden swerve. Glass shattering. A scream that feels like it comes from somewhere deep, somewhere irreversible. And then. Nothing. Silence. When we return to the present, everything has changed. The house feels like a graveyard of memories. Nicole drifts through rooms like a ghost, touching objects that no longer have meaning, except to remind her of what she's lost. She doesn't cry all the time. Sometimes she just sits. Staring. Empty. Because grief doesn't always look like pain. Sometimes it looks like nothing at all. Sebastian, on the other hand, fights it differently. He refuses stillness. He avoids the silence. He fills every moment with something: paperwork, phone calls, meaningless tasks, anything to keep his mind from wandering back to that night. But no matter how fast you run, grief waits. Their relationship deteriorates quietly. There's no dramatic explosion at first. Just small fractures. Unfinished conversations. Avoided eye contact. Words that almost get said, but don't. They sleep in the same bed, but they are worlds apart. So when the opportunity comes, a farm in Venezuela, inherited unexpectedly, it feels like an answer. A way out. A reset button. A chance to escape the suffocating weight of everything they've lost. The journey itself feels symbolic. As they travel further, the world becomes quieter. Less crowded. Less alive. Civilization fades into distance. And eventually, it disappears. The farm is exactly what you'd expect from a place forgotten by time. Wide, open land stretching endlessly in every direction. A house that stands alone, weathered but stubborn, like it has survived things it refuses to talk about. And silence. A silence so deep, it feels unnatural. At first, that silence feels like peace. Nicole breathes easier. No reminders. No noise. No past chasing her from room to room. But silence has a way of amplifying what's already inside you. And for Nicole, that means grief. The first whistle comes on the second night. Soft. So faint it almost blends with the wind. Nicole wakes up, unsure if she imagined it. She listens. It's gone. The next night, it comes again. Longer this time. Clearer. Not random. Not natural. Intentional. By the fourth night, she knows it's real. And it's getting closer. Strange things begin to follow. A chair slightly out of place. A door left open that was definitely closed. Footsteps echoing through empty hallways. Nicole begins hearing whispers. Not loud. Not threatening, just enough to make her question her own sanity. Sebastian tries to explain it away. Stress. Isolation. Trauma. But even he starts to feel it. That presence. That sense of being watched. When they finally speak to the locals, the tone shifts completely. There's hesitation. Fear. And eventually, warnings. They tell them about something tied to the land. Something old. Something that doesn't belong to the world of the living. They call it, the Whistler. No one describes it the same way. Some say it's a spirit. Others say it's a curse. But they all agree on one thing: you don't follow it. You don't answer it. You don't acknowledge it. Because if you hear it close, it's far away. And if you hear it far away, it's already right behind you. That should have been enough. That should have been the moment they left. But grief doesn't respond to logic. It responds to possibility. Because for Nicole, this isn't just a warning. It's hope. What if it's real? What if something out there can hear her? What if her daughter isn't completely gone? That's when they meet them. The group living just beyond the edge of the land. They don't introduce themselves like normal people. They don't ask questions. They simply know. They know Nicole is grieving. They know what she lost. And more importantly, they know exactly what to say. They speak of grief as something powerful. A connection. A bridge between worlds. They say death is not an end. Just a barrier. One that can be crossed. Sebastian sees through it immediately. It feels rehearsed. Calculated. Dangerous. But Nicole hears something else. She hears possibility. The rituals begin subtly. Meditation. Focus. Memory. Nicole is told to stop thinking of her daughter as gone, and start thinking of her as waiting. Waiting to be called back. At first, nothing happens. Days pass. Sebastian grows impatient. Frustrated. Angry. But Nicole insists. She says she feels something. A presence. Watching. Listening. And then, it happens. A glimpse. A shadow. A voice. Her daughter. Just for a second. But that's all it takes. Because once you believe, there's no going back. The rituals grow darker. More demanding. More real. Symbols carved deep into the earth. Chants that don't sound human. Offerings that feel wrong. Nicole changes. She stops sleeping. Stops eating. Stops being herself. She becomes obsessed. Sebastian watches helplessly as the woman he loves disappears, replaced by someone driven by one thing, bringing their daughter back. But something else is happening. Something neither of them fully understands. The house changes. The air thickens. The shadows stretch. And the whistle is no longer distant. It's inside the house. That's when Sebastian finally realizes the truth. This isn't their daughter. It never was. The cult didn't open a doorway to the dead. They opened something else. Something that feeds on grief. On desperation. On people willing to break reality just to undo loss. The Whistler isn't a guide. It's a predator, and Nicole didn't just call it. She invited it in. The final ritual approaches. And it demands a price. A life, for a life. Sebastian tries to stop it. He begs her. Pleads with her. Tries to remind her of what's real. But grief has already rewritten her world. Because accepting reality means accepting that her daughter is gone forever. And she refuses. The climax is chaos. Reality fractures. Voices overlap. Shadows twist. The whistle becomes unbearable. And in the center of it all, Nicole makes her choice. Not out of evil. But out of love. A love so powerful, it destroys everything. When it's over, the farm is silent again. Still. Empty. But not safe. Because something remains. Watching. Waiting. And somewhere, far across the land, a whistle echoes once more. Soft. Distant. Getting closer. Because some things don't leave. They wait. For the next broken soul, desperate enough, to listen. Because in the end, the scariest part isn't death. It's what answers, when you try to bring someone back. If you enjoyed this recap, hit like, subscribe to Mr. Recap X, and turn on notifications for more dark stories just like this. Because trust me, this is just the beginning.